Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ALIMIN bin Muhammad PAUZI. My material number is DE20071 and I will present about introduction of our project. So, a RAILGUN is the weaponized linear motor device that uses electromagnetic force to launch high-velocity projectiles. The projectile does not normally contain explosive. Instead of relying on its high speed, mass, and kinetic energy to cause damage, RAILGUN is the most appealing electrodynamic accelerator to implement due to its apparent simplicity of the concept and design. Simply put, a RAILGUN is made up of two parallel conductor rails, along which a sliding armature is accelerated by the electromagnetic effect of a current flowing down one rail into the armature and back along the other rail. As of 2020, RAILGUN have been researched as weapons utilizing electromagnetic force to impart a very high kinetic energy to a projectile rather than using conventional propellants. While explosive power military guns cannot really achieve a muzzle velocity of more than 2 km per second, RAILGUN can really exceed 3 km per second. For a similar projectile, the range of RAILGUN may exceed that of conventional gun. The destructive force of a projectile depends on its kinetic energy and mass at the point of impact. Because of potentially high velocity of RAILGUN launched projectile, its destructive force may be much greater than conventionally launched projectile of the same size. The absence of explosive propellant or warhead to store and handle, as well as the low cost of projectile compared to conventional weaponry, are also advantage. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, for the problem statement, the first is we need to find how much voltage and current needed for us to get a desired force for our RAILGUN to shoot at a long range with high accuracy. And the second is we need to find what kind of method that we should use for our RAILGUN to generate a desired force. And lastly is how are we going to build a future weapon by considering the economical factor today.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azli bin AZAHARI. My normal matrix is DE2000067. Thanks HILMAN for the problem statement. And now I'll proceed to objective. So for the first objective is to build a future weapon for shooting long range target with a high accuracy. Second, weapon that use high impulsive current to generate the necessary force required to hit a target. And the third and the last, which is an economical weapon, as it do not use any kind of propellant for shooting a projectile. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for the material used for this project, since we just built a replica, so our main material is mostly a cardboard, especially for the conducting rail, the main body, the handle and the armature. We also use other things such as a bottle, a rubber band and an A4 paper, which is mainly for cosmetic purposes.
Hello, so in this project, model of the discharging circuit of a RAILGUN and a model of projectile's trajectory with and without air drag have been generated using a prototype that we have been made. Both of these models are merged using recycled things such as cardboard, bottle, rubber band and so on. This model, it simulates the discharge of the capacitor voltage into the RAILGUN system to achieve the necessary acceleration required to launch a projectile with a certain velocity. It also simulates the trajectory of a projectile. In this project, an optimization technique has been implemented using a Michael Faraday rule, which is a current flowing magnitude of this field indicates how powerful the field that will be made. And the direction of it is the way the force lines of the magnetic field run. It's over here, and when the railgun is powered up from the positive and negative magnetic field, and the current flows from one rail to another, and then the two force of the lines of the magnetic field will run counterclockwise in the positive rail, and then it will be in a clockwise around the negative rail. So the net magnetic field between the rail is directed vertically, so the projectile between the two rails will act like a charged wire in an electric field, and it will from the positive rail and then the negative rail here, and then the projectile will come out from here, the middle part. This projectile with two rails also are known as a force known as the Lorentz force. It is named by Dutch physicist Hendrik, after the Dutch physicist Hendrik Lorentz. Simply stated, the Lorentz force, the projectile experience, is a combination of the electric and magnetic force due to the two electromagnetic fields because of the alignment of the rails on either side of the projectile and the direction of the two magnetic fields. The Lorentz force is thus directed perpendicular to both magnetic fields and to the direction of the current flowing across the armature. The Lorentz force is also parallel to the two rails, pushing the projectile away from the power supply and thus firing it like a cannon shell. Railgun projectiles are insert, meaning they have no explosive charge. And then it will be achieved by three factors, which is, first one, the emphasis of an early synergy between the evolution of the hardware and the simulation model, and then the second one, early implementation which facilitated multiple passes along the design spiral, and the third one is interdisciplinary nature of the design, which provided opportunities for electrical engineers to consider items such as material properties, forces on the barrel, temperature effects, aerodynamic drag, rail ablation, and also velocity. That is all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad SYAQIR bin SAFARUDIN. My numeric is DE200107. So I will present for the last part, which is expected outcome. Okay, first, the probability of missing a target is minimal since the technology used is embedded with high accuracy equipment. Next, the weapon will not have unnecessary force required to hit a target since the weapon have high impulse current. Okay, for the last expected outcome, the weapon will not harm the surrounding area since it does not use any kind of propellant. So that's all from us. Thank you.